Hello everybody, it's Connie with simplysimplestamping.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Hey, I am more excited about today's video than any other I've ever done. And that is because I have a special guest today. Sara Douglas, CEO of Stampin' Up, teamed up with me a few months ago to create today's video. I'm going to be sharing with you, along with Sara, she was my math guru for the day. It was wonderful. She and I are going to be sharing with you how to create perfect boxes every time. If you ever struggle with boxes, they buckle, they just don't seem to like to go together, they don't have that matchy-matchy feel, today's video is going to solve that problem. I'm going to share with you how to create perfect boxes every time, along with my dear friend Sara Douglas. Are you ready? Let's go. Sara, I love to make boxes, probably one of my favorite things I've ever made, but one of the struggles I've had is when you create a box and your box and lid don't want to go together.
It's so frustrating.
Right, you have to like crunch them together to get it to fit. Do you know what I'm talking about? I have a solution. And it's a solution that is made with all Stampin' Up! Products. Are you ready?
Ooh, yes.
Okay, let's go.
I'm ready. And I stink at making boxes, so teach me your wise ways.
All right, wise ways. Here we go. Well, of course we need to simply score because that's what it's all about. I'm going to bring in a piece of window sheet. It is 2 inches by 8 inches, and we're going to do some scoring. Now, window sheet's not the easiest thing to score. So I want to use the thinnest tip of my stylus tool.
Okay.
And I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. And you're going to really press, okay? We're going to really press that in there.
Well, one thing about it, it's not like a designer series paper where you poke a hole in it,
No,
right?
you're not going to poke a hole in this, that's for sure. So there's my 1/2 inch score line. Now I'm going to score again at 1 1/4 inch. And again, if you have to go over this a few times, that's perfectly fine. All right, while I've got my board out, I'm also going to bring in a piece of cardstock. I chose Daffodil Delight because something like this, it's easy to get lost in your stamp room, right? So I wanted something nice and bright that I could easily find on my messy desk. You don't have one of those, I'm sure.
Oh, gosh. I think you're not a cracker in the desk.
That's right. I'm scoring this at 1/2 inch. So just in half, all right? And you can see I've placed tear and tape down both sides. I've given that a really nice crease. Now, let's bring in the window sheet and a bone folder. We're going to give this a really, really good crease. And it's going to automatically kind of pop right into place. Let me get this side, and it's just going to fold over. But we do have a little extra space right there. Are you wondering what this little thing's going to do?
I am actually wondering what that is.
All right, so you can see when I say it's folded, it really folds in tight. So I'm going to stretch this out for just a minute, knowing it's going to be able to pop back into place later.
Okay.
So give that a nice little press. I'm going to come in with that fabulous tear and tape that I've got here on my designer series paper. I personally like to tear off just one side first.
Okay.
So I'm going to take this 1/2 inch, that very first score line, and I'm going to gently place it
In the
right
crease.
inside the crease. There we go. So once you get the first one on, the other one's a piece of cake. So we'll peel that off. All right, so I've pressed my cardstock on there. It's stuck. You know, tear and tape. It's not going anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and come back in with my bone folder again, because remember, we did have to press that down so we had something to work with. So now I've got this wonky little thing. Now comes the magic. I'm going to bring my Simply Scored board back in, and this clips
Shut the front
I
door.
know. And you know what that's going to do? When I create my lid and I bring my cardstock in, it bumps my cardstock out
Just enough.
1/16 of an inch, meaning I'm going to have...
You made your guide.
I made a guide.
You made a guide.
Now, one thing I want to comment on this before, and I'm going to show you how to make a box, but our Simply Scored board tapers down, okay? So it looks, can you see, Sara? It doesn't...
It's a little bit lifted down here,
It is,
right?
and that's normal. And so in other times when I've made it, I've gone, oh, it's not sitting just right. Don't worry, it's fine. As long as it's flat here, and there's no reason it shouldn't be. So this is what we're going to use when we create a lid. So not a box, but a lid. But how to make a custom box. Are we ready? We're going to make a custom box. So
I'm so excited.
one of the things we love to make, of course, are hand-stamped cards. But when you want to make a box for it, you don't know what size. So will you take some measurements for me?
Yes.
We're going to math. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to measure out my cards. Put my glasses on so I can see. Now you want to give yourself a little wiggle room in a box. You know, you don't want it to fit tight in there. So I'm going to say 4 3/4 by 6 inches. Okay, that's going to give me enough slush because remember I've got my envelopes on there too because I want to fit everything in there. Now we want to check the depth. So I'm just going to hold those right there. I'm going to say about 1 1/4 inches. It's about 1 inch, but of course when you've got
extra space,
extra space, yeah, for embellishments and things like that. So we've got our 1 1/4 inches. All right, here comes the math. Are you ready? So what we want to do is we want to take our length and our width, but we need depth twice. So we're going to go double D. We're going to double the depth. So if we take 4 3/4 plus 1 1/4 plus 1 1/4, no algebra. This is easy math. I don't math. So 1 1/4 and 1 1/4 is 2 1/2. So remember our length here was 4 3/4 plus 2 1/2. We get
6 and 7
and
a quarter.
7 1/4. So write down 7 1/4.
Okay.
And then we have 6 inches plus 2 1/2 because remember we doubled the depth.
Yep.
So
8 1/2. Oh my gosh.
Boom, we are ready to make a box.
Okay.
Okay. Now was that easy math?
Yeah, that's rad. I got that.
All right.
We can do that.
Well, here we go. We're going to make a box.
Okay.
So I have a piece of cardstock for my box, and I have a piece of cardstock for my lid. I went ahead and went 2 different colors so that we wouldn't have any issues with them matching up, okay?
Okay.
So lid, we're going to use this shim. So I'm going to come back to that because we're going to create the box first. So what was our depth? It was 1 1/4 inches. We're going to score at 1 1/4.
Is that that's all the way around?
All the way around on all 4 sides. Now I'm going to bring my cards in real quick and my envelopes and just
Double check.
double check. Never hurts, right? That looks like that's going to fit great. So I'm now going to work on my lid. So let me set this off to the side.
And this is where our lovely guide comes in.
This is where our little shim's going to come in, so we're going to put that right there. So I have my Whisper White thick cardstock for my lid. I've put my shim on here. Now when I go to use this, I want to make sure I don't accidentally go underneath it, or else what was the point, right? So we're just going to gently lay that up against the shim, and then I'm going to score that at 1 1/4 inches on all 4 sides, because remember that was our depth measurement. So you really don't have to overthink it too much. It's just the depth.
Well, the guide does the work for you, right?
It does. It's just perfect as long as you don't go underneath it. And really you shouldn't, as long as you just kind of check to make sure you didn't jam it underneath there. All right, let's make a box.
Yes.
All right, so I went ahead and drew the score lines just to make it a little bit easier for you to see. But we're going to start by just cutting up on the square. See, we have the 4 squares. The only thing I should be cutting on are the squares. If you're cutting on anything else, you're doing it wrong. So let's just focus.
And only one side of the square,
and
right?
only one side of the square. So you can see there, whoops, as it goes flying, there's our squares. We're now going to miter this because I think boxes go together better when they're mitered. And you can see I'm going to cut out a piece of pizza inside to the outside. And we'll do that on both of those. Just like so. We're going to do that all the way around. And we're going to do the same thing here.
Okay.
So, and again, it doesn't matter if I cut on this side or if I cut on this side, either way.
Just choose one.
Just choose one and stick to it.
Okay.
All right. Through the magic of television, we have those done. And so it's time to put our box together. So Sarah, I'm going to have you put the box together. And I want you to just see, in fact, this one's probably easier. Can you see? I've just put tear and tape
like
on
top and bottom.
Top and bottom.
Okay.
And you notice it's very close to that score line because that's how it's going to go together.
Okay, seam to
Just
seam.
like that, seam to seam. While Sarah's doing that, I do want to comment, of course, I came in with my bone folder. When it comes to boxes, you want really nice, sharp edges. You don't want to just use your finger or something. Oh, no, no. We want that box to have that really nice, sharp look.
Magic.
Magic time. Ready? So we're going to put our cards inside. Oh, those fit nice. Now we're going to see if our lid...
Look at that!
Look, it's tight. I mean, of course, it's got to be loose enough to come up, but it's not
Moving
falling
around.
off. So there's our box. Happy, happy, right? We can just add a focal image to the front. And I've got a gift ready to go. What do you think? Isn't that a fun thing? Now look, I wanted to show you this box too because
Your depth is different.
My depth is different.
Yes.
And you know what? I simply just changed the depth measurement. So this box was 2 inches tall, but my depth was 1 inch. Simple to do.
That's awesome.
It's just whatever depth
So you can
that
still
you want.
see the sides.
You can still see the sides, and I
Okay.
really liked that. Here's another little box. Let me get that out of the way. Here's another little box. And these are always, you know, super well, except when it's upside down. But yeah, a simple little treat box to do. Oh, and let me show you this too. You notice I put a little notch in it, and that's always fun to do. You do want to do that before you put the box together. I speak from experience. Don't try to get a punch in there. It doesn't work too good. I've got one more box to show you. And this is the way out of, you know, just crazy. But it's literally a lid. It's just a lid. And I've got my scratch paper here.
So you just changed up the dimensions to fit the side
Right.
of the box.
And this one, which is kind of interesting because this is quarter sheet of copy paper. Well, what I did is I used the shim to create the box. And then I also used the shim to create the lid. And it does fit tight, but guess what? I want it to, because this is not a lid I want to come off. See, it's going to sit right
your
there.
topper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
All right, there we go. A lot of different boxes all created with just the shim. I do want to mention, I said that, you know, you can just keep creasing this down, because if over time it's gotten a little stretchy, no problem. You can just come back in with that bone folder, crease it again. It's going to clip right onto your Simply Scored, but no problem. No, it does more than just score your cardstock. It makes great boxes too.
Well, yeah, there's never a box that you wouldn't be able to make.
No.
You can make any
size box with simple math. Thank you, Sarah, for helping me today.
Thanks for letting me
Thanks for doing the math for me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, math. Oh.
I know. Like I said, I don't like to put algebra and put letters into my math. I don't do that.
But easy math?
Easy
can do
math.
that.
Yes. Anyway, thank you so much for letting me share today. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. There you go. That little shim is going to create some amazing boxes, and you never have to worry about box and lid not living happily ever after. This is really a fantastic tool, and I do want to encourage everyone to create one. Remember, this is only used on the lid. If you can remember that, you could even write it there on the cardstock. Only use this on your lid, and you never have to worry about box and lid not going together. What a great way to take your Simply Scored board beyond just scoring cardstock. Yep, now we can just add that shim, and it became a box maker tool just like that. Now, if you'd like to see details about the Simply Scored board, or you want to catch the measurements to make that wonderful box maker shim, here's what you can do. Head over to simplysimplestamping.com. Just look for the March 21st, 2019 blog post. I'll have all the details there for you. And if you want to order that Simply Scored or the window sheets that you're going to need to create this, just click the pic. It's so easy to do. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So all you have to do is just click that pic to go directly to my online store. Well, my friends, that is it for me today. Thank you all so much for joining me. And a huge shout out to Sarah Douglas. I had so much fun creating with you that day. Hey, thanks for being my math go-to girl, because, you know, we don't math, but us no math girls, we got to stick together. So thank you, Sarah. Guys, I appreciate you joining me today. If you liked what you saw today, give me a thumbs up there on YouTube. And if you haven't done so, be sure to click that great big red subscribe button. I'd love to have you a subscriber, letting you know whenever I have a new video right here at YouTube. Have a fabulous one, my friends. We'll see you soon. Bye.